It's time for the power rankings going into week 4. And the man Vegas, he's done it again. He's done it again. The teams that he had ranked higher, when they're versing their opponents ranked lower, pretty much all picked up wins. So dominant performance by the man in Vegas this season. Got our first scandal, in-season scandal this season. It's taken us to week 3 to get it, which is like the longest it's ever taken. But we have our first in-game scandal, in-season scandal, and yeah, good week this week. Week 4, no extensions. No extensions for week 4. All games need to be completed by the extension time. There will be no extensions given. The games need to be done so Polly can do his playoff predictions before any games are done in week 5. So, no extensions. Other than that, let's just go straight into it. So, in D tier, we have Detroit. Now, this is the scandal. There's footage of Coach Haydos on the sidelines just pulling his hair up. When Laddie was in there, all Laddie had to do was just drop a Draco meteor and then take out the slow bro. But instead, the Laddie decided to go for Luster Purge, which is banned, and got the disqualification. And Chicago wins 1-0. So it was rough. It was tough to watch. To seeing the Pokemon that everyone knows that I'm like the Hydreigon fanboy. I think Hydreigon was the best Dragon Pokemon in draft until very recently. Very recently, I changed that to Lady, and to see the Pokemon that I had go out there and fumble the bag, deciding to go for a banned move over the Dracometer that would just secured the win. So it was tough to watch Lady make that decision on the battlefield, but. So that's what he did. I don't know why he did it. We'll have to go for an interview with the coach later and see what the player was thinking, but it was tough to watch. In C tier, I think we have one team that moved up, maybe. Not too sure. Can't remember. But yeah, these teams performances were somewhat expected. Again, so we had Denver, who beat Kansas City after Kansas City got a nice win. So this division is like really heating up now. We have it's still up for grabs for anyone. I think it's a pretty big tie for first still in this division. It is. So there are 3, 1, and 2 teams, and we have Las Vegas who are 0-3 -9, and they can still make the playoffs. They get 2 big wins. They can go to 2-3 with a positive differential, and they'll probably make the playing game. So they can even still win the division. Like this is still open for anyone. But Denver do have a nice 3 differential lead over the other 2, 1, and 2 teams. So Denver put himself in a pretty good spot. The week 5 game is going to be very, very big for this division. The divisional round in week 5 is going to be massive. But it was a nice win by Denver over Kansas City. Huge division win. So they have the tiebreaker now over Kansas City. So that's pretty cool. Arizona got themselves a win, I believe. I believe they got themselves a win. They did. So they beat Seattle. With the Porygon, that was a clutch performance from Porygon. Absolute clutch performance from Porygon. Getting the freeze on the Seattle, on the Steel, dude. The Steel, Reggie Steel. So that was a clutch performance from Porygon. Just breaking through the paralysis too. Not getting paralyzed and just insane performance. Picking up the win for Arizona. That was an MVP game for Porygon. Z in that one. But then we have Rose Raiders and Tennessee. I think they both lost as well. They're struggling this season, but they'll bounce back next year. They'll bounce back. They'll be fine. Like Tennessee, this was a team that everyone was very high on, but the man in Vegas wasn't buying it. They just have a lot of steel prize Pokemon, so their roster's just on average. It's just weaker than everyone else's because they have so much of their cap spent in the steel thing. So for all those people saying, "Oh, stealing doesn't matter. Stealing doesn't affect anything," people who steal aren't punished. They are very, very punished. So this is that. Going into C plus right now. We have Jolteon's moved down and we have a team that's moved up. So Chicago have actually moved down a little bit. Now, Chicago won against Detroit, but the man in Vegas was not impressed by this performance from Chicago. Chicago should have lost this game. Chicago should have lost. All that he had to do was just drop Jacob Meteor and they lose. Absolute MVP performance from Detroit's Snorlax in this game. I think Snorlax was robbed of the 3 points in the MVP voting. Snorlax was absolutely the MVP. I think Slowbro might have got 3, which the man of Vegas is, he is pissed about. Slowbro should have died to Latios Draco Meteor, but decided to go for Lost to Purge, getting the 4-foot win. But they should have lost. They should have lost. So, Man in Vegas was very, very tempted to drop Chicago down to C, as well as Seattle. Now, Seattle have 1 win this season, I think, and that win was, can't remember who the win was, but they did lose to Chicago, and that Chicago loss is like, it's really looking bad. That makes that loss look really bad after this week's Chicago performance. Now the man in Vegas he's not happy with Chicago. He's not happy with Chicago right now, and it's just making that loss in week 1 look a lot worse for Seattle. It's been a rough season from Seattle, but again, the just unfortunate loss with the power, like, but you have to think, like, is this team just that unlucky, or is there something to it? Because this team is, when it comes to like hacks and like unlucky rolls and things like that, this team is always on the receiving end of just unlucky shit. And it just keeps happening. You have to ask, is it just a coincidence, or is there something going on? Is there something more to it? Is this team just like destined to continuously lose to like unlucky shit? So it's interesting, but they can't break the trend. It just keeps happening over and over. Let's go to Jolteons here. They had a big loss. They've had 2 losses this season and a win. I believe their only win was against Las Vegas. Now this team, Las Vegas, is struggling on their own right now. And then their 2 losses were against Miami and Houston. They were big losses as well. I think this team is probably a C plus team. I think that's how they've performed this season. This is where they were last year as well, and then like at the top of C plus, and then they stormed home, won the division, and just came out of nowhere. So we'll see if Jolteons can do it again. I hope so, because I do think Jolteons are probably one of the like fan favorite teams in the league. So hopefully they do well. Wild Chargers, nice win. Got a nice win. They needed it. They're trying to compete for this division. Everything's still up for grabs. It was solid. Atlanta. So Atlanta, honestly, they lost, but it was a good performance. They versing the defending champion, kept it to a close game. I was impressed. The man in Vegas was impressed with this performance from Atlanta. New York, they played Miami. New York did very well positioning their Pokemon in this game. They positioned them very well, but Mew was clutch, using the right moves at the right time. Saw the opportunity to set up a Cosmic Power. He went for it. It worked out. There was just nothing the New York could really do at that point. But that was just an amazing performance from Mew to capitalize on the weaknesses of the New York's roster, not be able to break Cosmic Power. And not a lot was really learnt from the other games by the other teams. There's not really anything new to say. So going to B, we have Buffalo. Buffalo's moved up to B. I think Buffalo's going to finish the season with 2 more wins. I think Buffalo's going to go undefeated for the rest of the season. I think Buffalo's going to get second in the division. And Buffalo's going to get a play-in spot. Buffalo was the team projected by me. Okay, by me, not the man in Vegas, but by me to win the championship. It's looking like it could happen. See how it goes. But Buffalo, it's my sleeper team, and I was pushing the man in Vegas to put them at top of B, but he didn't do it. He kept it, but he moved not to B, so he put them at bottom of B. But San Francisco. Now, we have two contentions for fail of the season. Week 1, we have Laddie's lost to Purge debacle when he could have just dropped to Jaco Media, picking up the win. Coach Haydos was pulling his hair out on the sideline. You can hear him yelling, "What the fuck are you doing?" But then we have Glacier prepping for the wrong Z. He's looked at the wrong Z on the roster. We have ZI and then like Z Su, and he's prepped for the wrong one, and he's prepped for the wrong team, and he got spanked. He got spanked in this game. It was hilarious. It was pretty funny. Could be one of the fails of the season, so we'll see how that goes. But that was rough. That was this team's in a little bit of trouble right now, and this is why I think this league is perfect. This is why I've set it up so where it's really hard to be good all the time. And this is a team that has a good coach, and everyone knows that they're 0-3 right now. And it's just hard to stay at the top because with how the draft plays out and contracts and all that, it's very hard to keep a good roster. And this is what's happening to this team now. They just don't have a good roster. And it's starting to show. Even though the coach is amazing, probably a top 8 coach. I think he made the top 4 last season. So this is why I like this league. Just it's hard to stay good. LA, Pittsburgh. I'll still go Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh got the forfeit loss this week, so I don't really know how they would have performed in this game. The coach has some off-field troubles going on. I don't really know. He said he hurt his body or something. Let me look at the comments he made. Never mind, I can't. My Discord's not working. He said something like he beat up his body pretty bad, and he might not be in shape to go for this. I don't know what that could mean. I don't know if he was like fingering one of the cheerleaders and he just can't like click buttons on the keyboard or his mouse. I don't know what was happening. I respected my man, but yeah, couldn't perform in this game. So unfortunate, but hopefully he can bounce back next week. Good win by Houston, solid win. They keep chipping away. I know this coach expecting himself to move quite high up the list, I think, but just everyone in B is just doing good, and like if you're at the bottom of B, it's very hard to move up to the top of B because everyone in B is doing well. So I haven't seen anything that said, okay, this is like a definitive A team yet. So B is good. Cleveland got a loss to Baltimore. This is the division rival. One of these teams had to win. I still think these teams are both very good. But I think Baltimore, they were ahead before in the rankings. I still think they're going to be ahead now. So Baltimore picked up the win. This team's good though. This team's good. They played good against Miami, even though they got the loss. They played well. So this is a team to watch, I think. Philadelphia's 3-0. The thing with this, Connor, he's the Joe Flacco of the league. He has these short runs of form that are just unstoppable, completely unstoppable. They only last like 3 to 4 weeks, and he's hit it at the right time twice in the playoffs and got a championship. But then other than that, he's just been kind of just average. And right now he's hitting a run of form, and we're going into week 4 right now. So this is the interesting thing because he's never hit it in the regular season before. He's always hit it at the right time in playoffs. So if he is the Joe Flacco of the league and this form only lasts 3 to 4 weeks, he's not going to be a contender for the championship. But if he's breaking the trend and he can continue this and it's not Joe Flacco and he's like a Patrick Mahomes and he just keeps coming through and wins championships, this team's maybe an A+ team. It very well could be, but we got to see what he is. He's either, because I don't think B is accurate for this team, but it's also the only place you can put him because we don't really know what he is yet. Like, is he Joe Flacco? If he is, then this is probably a C+ team. If he is Patrick Mahomes, that's probably an A+ team. We don't really know. We've got to see how he performs to close out the season. If he does not close out the season well, and he shows that his run of form only really lasts like a few weeks, then he'll move down quite a bit. But if he shows that he can break that trend and just pull a full season of just dominant performance, which he hasn't done yet, then this is a new thing, and it's very scary because this coach is the only two-time champion. So, got to watch on beat. Just got to keep an eye on the Philadelphia Beadrills. Green Bay got a loss to the team which has probably done the best in the season so far based off the initial preseason rankings, and that was Minnesota. So they got a tough loss. This was a little bit of a more rough performance by Justin Boy, but every now and then he has those games, and everyone does. So like, it's whatever, really. This team's fine. This team's still good. This is still a top 5 team in my opinion. Just they're fine. They're fine. Cincinnati got the 4th win. Can't move them up. Can't really move them down. I think they would have won anyway, but we don't really know yet. And then Tampa Bay, they just got to win. It was expected. Like they didn't do anything to like blow me away. I just thought they'd win, and they did. Going into A, we have 2 teams in A. We have Gigantamax and Slow Kings. These 2 teams are very, very good. I still think, even though they're 1 and 2 right now, I still think New York is legit. You could maybe put Slow Kings over New York. I would if the man in Vegas hasn't, but I think I would put Slow Kings in front of in New York. But Slow Kings, they're doing very well right now. They're kind of dominating. It's probably game of the week next week when they play New Orleans. I'm rooting for Slow Kings. I wanted to keep this trend together. I wanted to keep the upward momentum. I think they can win a championship. I think they might win a championship. I think it's going to be Slow Kings and Buffalo in the championship. I really do. I can't remember who I predicted to be in the championship for the Scarlet division, the Violet division in the championship predictions against Buffalo. I can't remember who I predicted, but right now I think Minnesota's surging right now. This team's legit. And then in A+, we have the 2 championship teams from last season. Miami, 1st seed in the division, have the highest differential again. Another win, another good performance. They are just performing like the top-ranked team. And then New Orleans, they're picking up wins. They're small wins, but they're against very tough opponents. And that's kind of what I would expect when you're the best team. One of the best teams, and you're going against tough opponents. I don't expect you to completely dominate them. You're getting wins. That's what an A+ team does. So these 2 teams doing very, very well right now. Very likely could finish the season in S. So we'll see how that goes. But these 2 teams are on fire right now. They are scary as fuck. They are dominating, and yeah, these are clearly the top 2 teams, I think. So these are the rankings going into week 4. Kept it on 20 minutes, very good. I might try to do a little breakdown of the season so far, like the rankings and the standings and all that shit. Maybe in a separate video. We'll see how that goes, but thank you all for watching. Peace.